5 things you do at Christmas that make you a witch and you never even realised. You might just think that Christmas is about Jesus, the Son of God, Christian tradition. After all, Christmas has the word Christ in it, the Mass of Christ or the birth of the Messiah. But, as it turns out,
He's not the Messiah, he's a very naughty boy.
I wouldn't want to denigrate the Christian church here, but I will say that much of what we think of as Christian traditions are actually pagan.
Surprise!
I did a video a few years ago about exactly this, and if you want to check that out, there's a video I've linked up there. But in this video, I'm going to look more closely at Christmas and tell you a few things that you do at Christmas that you probably don't even know are pagan traditions. And if that sounds like something you'd like to see, click that like button right now, subscribe and ding that bell, because it's all coming up right after this. Hello and welcome to Real Wizardry. I'm Neil, it says so down there, and in this video I'm looking into things that we do at Christmas that have roots in paganism and magic, and you probably don't even realise it. So let's get right into it. Number 1. Christmas cake. We all love a bit of Christmas cake.
Yes, cake. We like a bit of cake, don't we?
We all love a bit of Christmas cake. But is the traditional Christmas cake really as traditionally Christian as we all think it is? Well, you know that because I'm asking, the answer is pretty obvious.
No, definitely not.
Aside from the association with feeding the participants of a magical ritual after the event, Christmas cake also has a number of traditional acts associated to it. Steeping the fruit in alcohol is not traditionally just for flavour. It is also seen as an offering to the nature spirits who provided the fruit to you, so that when they come back to get the fruit that you took, they will be appeased by the alcohol and they'll leave the fruit alone. Christmas cake also involves making wishes, both when stirring and when cutting the cake. If you make a wish at either time, either stirring the cake batter or cutting the cake, or you have alcohol in your cake, you are a witch. Number 2, the Christmas tree. Okay, so we probably know that this is a German tradition brought to England by Prince Albert when he married Queen Victoria, right? Well, yes, but where did the Germans get the idea from? The monarch of England, from King Henry VIII all the way through to now, is known as the defender of the faith. The Church of England's head is the ruling monarch, in this case Queen Elizabeth herself. So you'd think that the Church of England would know that cutting down a fir tree and bringing it inside a house isn't exactly a traditional thing for followers of a Jewish Arab to do. In fact, fir trees don't tend to grow in Israel at all. There are forests of cypress trees and they definitely would do the job, but no firs, as far as I could find on a search anyway. Firs are a much more common tree in France and Germany, and the idea is that cutting down a fir, like a Douglas fir, would encourage woodland spirits into your home, where they could bless the house with good luck and fortune for the year ahead, a bit like a leprechaun. And if you have a Christmas tree, you're a witch. Number 3, the star. The Star of Bethlehem is a common story where the 3 wise men followed a moving star that led them to a stable where Jesus was being born. It's the story I told last week, by the way, link up there. It's known as the greatest story ever told, but I'd argue that Harry Potter is probably better. Although the Bible did sell more copies, and have you seen the disgusting amount of gold in the Vatican while the church tells mediocre to poor people to give what they can to help the poor? I digress. Yes, so this is a star, and apparently it's the Star of David, Bethlehem being the city of David. That would absolutely make sense, right? Well, no. If we look at this Christmas star, it's got 5 points, strangely similar to the pagan pentacle. A symbol of spirit at the top, earth, air, fire and water, the 4 holistic elements. So topping the tree with an angel is another way around the problem, but angels predate all religions, not just Christianity, and it isn't actually Christian either. Perhaps that's the topic for another video, but if you do top your Christmas tree with either a 5-pointed star or an angel, you're a witch. Number 4, tinsel, baubles and fairy lights. This is like 3 in 1. I'm spoiling you, I know. Acting as roadways and decoration to direct and attract spirits into your tree, a bit like a road I suppose, tinsel is about as pagan as you can get. It's thought that tinsel reminds nature spirits like sprites and fairies of the roads of fairyland, and so this tinsel guides imps and other helpful spirits into your home. It also allows the fairies to find their way in and out so that they can do your bidding when they are in the home. Fairy lights, on the other hand, act to attract those fairies in the first place. They're even called fairy lights, for goodness sake. And I know they are string lights now and they use electricity to light up little bulbs, but that wasn't always the case. Traditionally, they'd use candles. A bit of a fire hazard, I know, but interestingly, there are accounts of house fires as a result of these candles in a tree, and they were usually put down to nasty fairies causing the fire. After all, just like humans, not all spirits are good, and this is where baubles come in. Shiny baubles, or bulbs of glass or spheres of glass that reflect pretty light around the house. Baubles are thought by the general public, and probably you included, to be nothing more than pretty ornaments that look nice. Sorry, no. According to the Museum of Witchcraft and Magic in Boscastle in Cornwall, England, baubles have their own roots in witch balls, spheres of blown glass usually hung around the house in dark corners to catch evil spirits and to prevent them from escaping into the house. And this makes perfect sense when you consider that you're actively trying to encourage spirits into your house using a Christmas tree. You'd only want the good ones around, wouldn't you? And it's not like the spirits have an Airbnb rating after all. If you hang tinsel, baubles or fairy lights anywhere around your house at Christmas time, you, my dear friend, are a witch. Number 5, leaving out a snack for Santa on Christmas Eve. And I'm really sorry I'm ruining all of your traditions now. If you have young children, you probably know the deal. Leaving out a gift of anything from cookies to milk or sweets or mince pies, carrots for the reindeer, or even a glass of brandy or sherry or whatever Dad likes. Well, it might just surprise you to know that leaving anything out for Santa is actually about the most witchy thing that you could ever do. Let's think about this. The pagan altar is, traditionally at least, a slab of stone. This is the same as the hearth of a fireplace, and I know it might seem like a bit of a stretch, but bear with me, because pagans famously offer gifts to spirits as a sacrifice or offering. Most pagan rituals for prosperity or for help from spirits, gods, deities, or other entities involve food offerings. Often these are home cooked and consist of cakes, biscuits, cookies, breads, or other starchy foods like pies and stuff. But Santa is just a guy, right? Why would we be doing any kind of ritual just for a guy? Isn't this okay just to thank him? Well, in many traditions, especially those of Eastern and Central Europe, you know, like Germany, the same place that birthed that Christmas tree we told you about, the pagan one. In those traditions, Santa isn't a human, he's an elf. In the poem The Night Before Christmas, Santa was called that jolly old elf. If you make a sacrificial offering to Santa on Christmas Eve, you, my dear friend, are also a witch. And if you're struggling with any of this, by the way, you might also be interested to know what you get if you write down the word Santa, but move the N to the end of the word. Now, before I go, remember you only have about a day and a bit to back my magical cocktail book on Kickstarter, and the link to that is down in the description. If you did like this video, please click that like button. It tells YouTube that it was a good video and more people should see it. And if you'd like to see some more of this kind of thing, click on that subscribe button and ding the bell to make sure that you never miss out on a single magic minute. Remember to check me out on social media where we can be best friends, and if you want to do that, you're going to need to use these. These are my social medias, so feel free to rewind the video to screenshot them if you need to, because they're going away right now. Told you. A massive shout out to these mega people. They are my members and patrons from Patreon and YouTube, and they help me out so much. If you want to be one of these awesome people, head on down again to the links in the description. I'll be back next time with some more magical awesomeness. But until next time, as always,
Very magical.
remember to check me out on social media where we blah 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 blah.